Live and direct from Chicago, Illinois, the third largest city in the United States. It's The Drive with Mario Smith. I am Mario Smith. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We encourage you to participate in the conversation. You can do that by getting in our chat on backchannel.tv on YouTube or ask your Alexa supported what? Ask your Amazon supported devices to join us. Oh, God, already day two on The Drive with Mario Smith. And whether you're watching or hearing, thank you. We normally set the things up with an at this hour to tell you what you've missed. I have breaking news. Jay Gliss is joining me from Portland, Oregon. What's up, bro?
How are you? How's it going,
How are
man?
you, sir? I'm good. I'm good. You look great.
Thank you.
Got some breaking news. We're gonna have to get a breaking news thing.
Yeah, I can do that. I can put that together for you.
Something real big and stupid, just dumb. Because this doesn't qualify as dumb, but this is very telling. So we talked a lot yesterday about the Chicago Teachers Union and their woes with the Chicago public school system, about COVID and testing, and the teachers didn't want to be in class and all that. About 15 minutes ago, the mayor of the city of Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot, on Twitter said the following. If it never wasn't, it's not funny, but it is so. She said, quote, "Earlier today, I tested positive for COVID-19. I am experiencing cold-like symptoms, but otherwise feel fine, which I credit to being vaccinated and boosted. I will continue to work from home while following the CDC guidelines for isolation." That's a John Lennon song, Isolation, or Beatles song. That's a good song. The rest of her statement is, "This is an urgent reminder for folks to get vaccinated and boosted, as it's the only way to beat this pandemic." Here's the problem, Jay Gliss. For 5 days, the second time this has happened, but for the last 5 days, she's went out of her way to talk about how the teachers need to be in class and how these children can't learn and how they got to be in school. And if they're not there, remote learning doesn't work. And COVID, the safest place you can be is in school. And now she is at home, quarantined because she has COVID-19. I wish her nothing but the best in terms of her health. I am not that guy. But boy, oh boy, if you ever wondered what that spinning wheel does, it always comes back around. Always. It never does it not come back around. She now has COVID. She's been telling anybody that'll listen how trash the teachers are. They've been fighting. I like to call our mayor Tiger Uppercut. You got to go deep in some hip hop. That's an Organized Confusion lyric from Pharaoh Monch. But she's Tiger Uppercut. Always fighting. I'll show you all. And now she has COVID-19. Man, look. I don't know. I know what karma is, and I know what it's not. This is it. This is karma. So we're going to apparently we're going to talk about this some more today, and we will get everything started with our at this hour in a bit. You're watching The Drive with Mario Smith on backchannel.tv. I cannot believe this woman has COVID, and we'll be back in a couple. Not even a couple. We'll be back in 30 seconds with the start of the actual show, and that's breaking news. And please tell all your people to come and join us on their Amazon-supported devices. This is The Drive. Go, Jake. Let's go. Here's some of the stories we're looking at this hour here on The Drive with Mario Smith. Bank of America to slash overdraft fees from $10 to from $35, to $10. Bank of America is slashing the amount it charges customers when they spend more than they have in their accounts and plans to eliminate fees for bounced checks. It's the latest move by the nation's biggest banks to roll back the overdraft fees they long charged customers, fees that often amount to hundreds of dollars a year for frequent overdraft users. Starting in May, the Charlotte, North Carolina-based bank will cut the overdraft fees it charges customers from $10. Why do I keep saying that? To $10 from $35. It will also stop charging fees for non-sufficient funds, which are levied when it rejects a transaction, better known as bouncing a check, or as I like to call it, you ain't got it there, sir. You fix your account. You're in bad shape. And other news that we're watching on the show: 4 people survived a medical helicopter crash in Pennsylvania, and among those 4 was an infant. All 4 passengers on a medical helicopter carrying an infant to a hospital in Pennsylvania survived when that helicopter crashed next to a church Tuesday afternoon, CBS Philly reported. Officials called the landing, which also did not injure anyone on the ground, a quote, miracle, close quote. The medical chopper was heading to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia from Maryland when it crashed near the Drexel Hill United Methodist Church in Delaware, and they're telling you the same story as well, which I am not trying to have them tell you at the same time. I apologize for that. And that right now are the headlines at this hour. We are also going to get into some stories for you that will require a little bit more in-depth uh, analysis. For example, here is something that is just mind-blowing. A lawsuit accuses 16 major universities, including Yale and Northwestern, of illegally collaborating to limit students' financial aid. This is something, not a little something either, a big something. A new lawsuit, as soon as my computer behaves, it's either Bliss or my computer. Every day, it's something new. It does not want to behave today, but we're going to fight it and make it happen. A new lawsuit accuses major universities. Oh, well, clearly, if it's nothing else, it's interesting. A new lawsuit accuses major universities, including Ivy League schools, of engaging in illegal behavior that restricts students' access to federal aid. The Wall Street Journal reported on Monday that 5 former students were suing 16 schools in the U.S., including Yale, Georgetown, and Columbia, also Northwestern University and the University of Chicago here in Chicago, accusing them of engaging in price fixing and unfairly cutting off some students from financial aid by collaborating on financial need calculations. The Journal reported that schools are legally allowed to collaborate on their financial aid formats. It's funny pop-ups. But the lawsuit said the schools waived the students' ability to pay in some situations, which is not permitted under the law. Attorneys in the suit said more than 170,000 former students who received partial financial aid from the 16 schools could be eligible to become plaintiffs in the case. Other defendants in the lawsuit include Northwestern University, Brown University, the University of Chicago, Dartmouth, and the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, better known as MIT. Quote, while conspiring together on a method for awarding financial aid, which raises net tuition prices, defendants also consider the wealth of applicants and their families in making admissions decisions, Eric Rosen, a partner at one of the firms that filed the lawsuit, told the Journal. Representatives for all of the mentioned schools either declined to comment on pending litigation or did not immediately respond to requests for comment. There's historical precedent for the type of anti-competitive behavior accused in the lawsuit. In 1991, all members of the Ivy League were charged with price fixing, which is when competitors get together to set the price of a product, often making prices higher for consumers. As a result, Congress passed legislation that exempted those schools from antitrust violations as long as the collaborations on aid were need blind, meaning not taking into account the student's ability to pay. What in the world is going on with our major Ivy League colleges and universities? For example, University of Chicago, the Ivy League of the Midwest. So they're running. Help me make this make sense, everybody. Join us in the conversation on backchannel.tv. If you're watching us on YouTube, please be in the live chat and get in with us and let me know, because I don't know what is going on. How does this work? How do you do that? I don't understand. We got folks watching, by the way. Hey, Nathan and Kobe, and it's Boney. Okay. your buddy Skill Killer, the rapper in Oregon, who you don't know, but I have a feeling you're going to know soon, Bliss. And Tim in New Hampshire, thank you all for joining. Please feel free to chat. I need answers because I do not know a lot about why this is happening, but this sounds horrible. How do you get to the point where that's a thing? You're limiting students' aid, making it more difficult for them to get into the school and then to pay once they get there. I don't know. That's the thing. We could definitely talk about that today. Also, one of the other stories that's happening around the world that we are definitely going to talk about today: the U.S. COVID hospitalizations hit a new record high, raising risks for patients. This is from NPR. The Omicron-driven surge has sent COVID-19 hospitalizations skyrocketing across the United States, reaching a new pandemic high this week with 145,982 patients hospitalized. And one, the mayor of Chicago, not hospitalized, but she has COVID too. This exceeds the previous high recorded in January. That's going to bother me for a minute, man.
I know you're fired up about that one.
Oh, I'm trying to calm down. That's just how do you do that? How do you talk for a week and a half? I'm sorry.
It's not the best example of what she was advocating for. That's for sure.
That's what I'm saying. You said, the mayor said, and again, I hope she's fine. I know too many people who've died from having this, and it sounds like she's going to be fine. But I don't want no trouble. I don't want no trouble. I'm not hoping anything ill upon the mayor. But if that is not the definition of dramatic irony, I don't know what is. You said you were specific in your thoughts about the teachers and the kids and that the schools were safe. So where were you, Mayor, when you got sick? Yelling at the teachers on this rampage about the teachers and the kids need to be in class? Okay, I'm saying that. I'm sorry. I'll go back to this story. This exceeds the previous high recorded in January last year, according to data tracked by the Department of Health and Human Services for more than 5,400 hospitals in the country. Patients with COVID now fill about 30% of ICU beds in the nation, and pediatric COVID hospitalizations are also at the highest rate of the pandemic. The record-breaking numbers are a sign of just how quickly the Omicron variant has swept across the country. Overall, infections are also at record levels, with the U.S. averaging more than 700,000 new cases a day. This is year 3. We are literally going to we can't say 2 years anymore, man. This is year 3. This is, come on, y'all. Why are we doing this? Why? I don't understand us, man. With the United States, this moment should be the moment that we're all like hitting it hard and trying to get rid of this. It's like, nah, we're just gonna let it stay. Like,
well, we could have done that a year and a half ago.
Could have done it right from the jump, man.
Yeah.
The one guy that actually got the vaccine, all his followers are saying don't get it, but he's got it. Remember, he ripped his mask off on that side of the White House they never show on TV.
He got booed. He's been getting booed for
getting booed everywhere he goes. Yeah, telling people to get vaccinated. That's also second example of dramatic irony. For everybody watching at home, write that down. You'll remember it. Dramatic irony, because there's no way. This is ridiculous. The fact that this is still a story is sad. Very, very sad. But hey, here's something that I need your help on, for real. And I really need to know. And Jay Bliss, you could be the beginning of this to help me. Home COVID tests to be covered by insurers starting Saturday. Before I even read this, my question is, if you made the tests free, wouldn't that help get more people tested? Why are you going to suddenly make people have to have some kind of health coverage for these tests, but you didn't do it for the vaccinations?
Right.
Make it make sense. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me either. I've been of the opinion from the start that when we're in a situation like this, it's a public health crisis.
Right.
And I mean, you got to throw everything at the wall to try to do everything you can to slow it down and put all this craziness to an end. But like you said, we're now started on year 3 and we're pretty much in the same position. We know a lot more about it. We have a vaccine. That's good. There's a lot of people that are vaccinated in this country, but at the same time, we can't seem to get out of our own way. And it just doesn't make much sense.
And now, because there's a shortage of tests, you want me to, not saying that I don't, but you want me to have health coverage so that I can get this test instead of you giving everybody the test so that
Right.
we can get everybody tested and then maybe get our hands around this a little bit better. I don't understand between this and the initial reaction to COVID, what in the hell are people doing that are running what we call our government?
Yeah.
How does this? So, just so you know, starting Saturday, private health insurers will be required to cover up to 8 COVID-19 tests per month for people on their plans. The Biden administration announced the change to, Monday, as it looks to lower costs and make testing for the virus more convenient amid rising frustrations. Under the new policy, first detailed to the Associated Press, Americans will be able to either purchase home testing kits for free under their insurance or submit receipts for the test for reimbursement up to the monthly per person limit. A family of 4, for instance, could be reimbursed for up to 32 tests per month. PCR tests and rapid tests ordered or administered by a health provider will continue to be fully covered by insurance with no limit. So what I know, and I don't know much, but I do know that there are places in this country where people live that don't have health care, not even the most basic health care, not Obamacare, not anybody's care. And well, what are they supposed to do? How are they supposed to get this test? How are we ever going to end this? That is,
Yeah,
I
we're
don't have
just
a mini bar up here.
running in circles is what we're doing. It doesn't. I mean, you have me stumped. I wish I had some kind of answer, but I don't understand it. I don't understand. Like you said, going back to the beginning of this, you would think. I mean, America considers itself to be such a patriotic country. You think this would have been something that kind of galvanized us and brought us together, and it kind of just had the opposite effects. And
Very
we're
much
in a
so.
situation where it became a political issue, and now things have kind of gone from it was the masks, and then it was the vaccine, and all these different elements and layers, and we're still pretty much not much better off than we were when this whole thing started,
Not
and
at all.
it's very unfortunate.
One of our thank you for watching and or listening, everybody. Margie Law says exactly, all testing should be free, period. Yes, there's no metric that says it can't be done. It's just like all the vaccine that's here in the United States that they won't give to small countries across the world so that they can tackle COVID. I swear, man, are we in a Marvel movie? Is this like Avengers dumb game? What are we in? What is going on? What part of this Marvel universe? I never read this comic book when I was a child. What if? Is this a what if? Are we on what if? I mean, what this was? Boy, oh boy. Yeah, see, you know what? This is more of what's gonna happen for the next however long we're gonna be doing this. Me just leaving here just like rah, unbelievable. This should be Biden's golden moment. This should be a no-brainer. It should be as simple as him saying, make these tests free. Anybody that wants to get one of them can get one. Period. We'll pay for it. We just gave Afghanistan more money today, as a matter of fact. We got money to dole out to the military. God bless the military if you served. Bless your heart. I get it. I see one of my guys is on the chat who I know served. Peace, Gary. But this is a crisis. The word pandemic, by its definition, signals that it's going down. Yet we have to make provisions for folks who don't have proper health care that won't be able to get this test. That is damning. It says a lot about this place. Um, Gary says it's the missing chapter. Biden is speaking about national voting rights right now. That's another thing. If I can pivot for a second, Gliss, why is this a conversation? You know why? Because the people who want to make it hard for people like me to vote want to make it hard for people like you to vote now.
Yeah.
They don't want you doing it. No, they want to have the mess we just went through over and over and over again. They want to turn this from a democracy into an autocracy. That's scary. That's also going to be exodus, because I know a lot of people that can expatriate and be gone. And I'm not one of those folks because I'm kind of stuck here. But, you know, man, there's so much wrong that is fixable. And I am afraid that we're never going to be able to fix it. So next story. All right, I'll keep moving. And at the end, boys and girls, there is a feel good story. It's about an hour and a half away, but it's coming. It's coming. I promise you, it's coming. So yeah, if you have an opportunity to get it, you know what I see happening. I think I'd like to think that there are people who are in the world that will make sure that people who don't have the test will be able to get it, and they'll be generous with their gift, and they'll share the tests that they get with people, or somehow some of these organizations who have money allocated for COVID relief will get a bunch of these tests and make sure that people who live in the hood will be able to get them, or people who live in rural areas will be able to get them. Because really, at the end of the day, those are the folks who need them the most. I live in Illinois, downstate Illinois. I am sure that there are areas in downstate Illinois that could use COVID tests that aren't getting them. And this would be an opportunity to see people's kindness and generosity so that those folks can get the test. But this is all ridiculous. Look, so here you go. This is, if I could write a letter to President Run Down the Runway, Mr. Biden. Number one, can we get the vaccine into countries that are poorly medically staffed so that we can start to take COVID and knock it out? And number two, here in America, can everybody get a free test? Just do it. Turn the machines on, create these tests, and make them free for everybody, like you are with the vaccine. The rush to make everybody take the vaccine is not being matched with the same kind of zeal that people should be getting these tests. I think that's backwards. What a place. Boy, we live in a great place. We live in a great place. Hey, you want some more more good news? We're knocking it out today for you. The United States was hit by separate billion-dollar disasters in 2021. It was the third costliest extreme weather year on record, with affected communities spread from coast to coast. Damage from the year's 20 most costly disasters, which included thousands of wildfires burning across western states, frigid temperatures and hailstorms in Texas, tornadoes in the southeast, and tropical storms saturating the east coast, totaled around $145 billion. So, you know, the climate change issue and debate is raging all around the world. Another thing that we should be on top of is making sure that we can live. Everybody watching, please help me. I am damn near begging. I need to know why this is such a hard thing for our leaders to wrap their minds around. We can't fix the planet that we live on. I mean, we probably can't fix it, but we can make it livable. I'm telling you, one day, man, something like that, the side of the cliff in Brazil that fell off over the weekend, more of that's coming. More of it is on the way. God, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Let me see let me get into this a little bit more. The deadly mega disasters were scattered throughout 2021 and hit communities from coast to coast, starting with flash floods and bomb cyclones in California and ending with Colorado's most destructive ever wildfire, which tore through almost 1,100 homes and 6,000 acres, causing more than $10 billion of damage. No wonder we can't get free tests because we got to pay for the mistakes we're making by ignoring the climate. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Didn't mean to rant and rave, everyone. Forgive me. Sorry about that. Let's move on next. Or are we good on time, Gliss?
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, hey, you know what? Since we're there on the climate, why don't I tell you about the. Wow, it gets better. The past 7 years are the hottest on record, according to EU satellite data. Not the band, the go-go band EU, because they don't have satellite technology, as far as I know. They do have good music, though. I'm talking about the European Union. That was the worst joke I think I could have ever told in front of people I don't know. I'm sorry. The Copernicus Climate Change Service said 2021 was the fifth warmest year with record breaking heat in some regions, and the amount of warming gases in our atmosphere continued to rise. Governments are committed to limiting global temperature rise to, I believe this is going to be 1.5 Celsius to curb climate change, or centigrade, not Celsius, centigrade. Is this from one of those fancy European places? The BBC. Not so fancy. The environmental, human, and economic costs of higher temperatures are already being seen globally. Thus, all the disasters that we're having here in the United States, and 60-degree days in December in Chicago, although not today. It's nowhere near 60 today. Trust, it's pretty cold. It's not as cold as it was, or like last night, for example, but it's pretty cold. Let's get off of this horrible news with actually a really good story, and it's about one of my favorite artists and poets and writers, Maya Angelou. She is the first Black woman on the U.S. quarter. She's not on the front of the quarter, but she's on it. Maya Angelou, poet, activist, is the first Black woman to write and perform a poem at a presidential inauguration, and coins are planned for other pioneering women, including an actress, as a part of the American Woman Quarters program. The move was the nation's first female Treasury Secretary. Quote, each time we redesign our currency, we have the chance to say about our country, what we value, and how we've progressed as a society, close quote, Janet Yellen said in a statement on Monday. Maya Angelou passed away in 2014 at the age of 86. She's on the quarter. How about that?
That is finally some good news.
Finally, my blood pressure can go down.
It's all COVID and climate change, but it's good that we could find some good news in there.
For the folks who don't know, like the behind the scenes people, I don't need Robert or Riyadh to be like checking on my, ask me, do I need a defibrillator in my house? Because I'm freaking out. I'm fine, guys. But yeah, that is great news. Maya Angelou, man, she was no joke. There are stories about her when she was a younger lady. She was a bit of a pistol, and the fact that she is on the quarter, I'm sure in this moment we live in, that's going to make people angry. You know, it is what it is. But hey, man, I'm looking for that quarter now. I'd like to get some of those, save them, you know, before the sun hits the earth or before COVID kills everybody. Get a chance to have some quarters. How about that? Look at that. And those are the stories of the day around the world. Oh, actually, there's one more. And you know what? Maybe I should have read the Maya one last because this is also good. And you know, if you don't have a little nuclear fear, what are you really doing with your life? North Korea launches more advanced missiles after a hypersonic test. The launch was detected by South Korea and Japan. North Korea appears to test fire a ballistic missile on Tuesday. Oh, that would be today, would it? That may be more advanced than a hypersonic when it launched less than a week ago, South Korea's military said, as Pyongyang pursues increasingly powerful weapons. Tuesday's launch, condemned by authorities in Washington and Tokyo as just a bad idea. I'm paraphrasing because my computer stopped working. Here we are. And promoting an expression of concern from the UN Secretary General, underscored North Korean leader Kim Jong-il's vow to bolster the military with cutting edge technology at a time when talks with South Korea and the United States have stalled. All right, Bliss, look. So here's the plan. You get your family, you start digging a hole, dig it all the way into the center of the earth, because I think that might be the safest place, or build a ladder to the moon and get out of here. Because between rampaging wildfires, COVID, Maya Angelou's quarter, and everything else that we read about today, this is all it's done. Thank you everybody for watching the show. 2 episodes. Good night. We did it. We made it to 2 episodes, brother. When we come back, we have more pleasant things to talk about, and we will give you our community report. We will take a break. We'll be back shortly. This is The Drive with Mario Smith on Backchannel.tv. Please feel free to join us in the conversation. Get into the chat. Hey, Gary. Hey, Margie. What up, Scott? And hey, everybody that's watching on YouTube and listening to us on your Amazon-supported devices. We'll be back in a bit. It's The Drive. See you in a second. Boy, howdy, that news was horrible. Let's see if we can't pick up the vibes, man. It's The Drive with Mario Smith. Good afternoon. If you're just joining us, thank you for checking us out. We are on Backchannel.tv. We are also available on YouTube, and we're on your Amazon-supported devices. Just ask them to say, hey, could you play The Drive with Mario Smith? And it'll happen. And then you'll see me for what it's worth, or hear me, and we are here for you. You can join us in the chat. This show is interactive. We love hearing from you. We really like for you to get involved. Come on in. As I like to say, get in. We're going on a drive. Shout out to your pal Hal. Shout out to Liv. Shout out to Jam. Shout out to everybody, all the guys here at Back Channel. We are doing the work, and we're glad that you're joining us. And I hope your day is going well wherever you are. I am rocking my Jazz Institute of Chicago shirt. I just want to show it off real quick. All right. Shout out to my people at the Jazz Institute of Chicago as well. It's time for our community report. And we will start off by talking about what we had already mentioned earlier about the Chicago Teachers Union and the impasse that it had with the Chicago public school system. It has been resolved. Last night, not too long after we went off the air, the CTU, the Chicago Teachers Union, and their delegates voted on a plan to resume classes. Students are poised to return to school tomorrow after leaders of the Teachers Union approved a plan with the nation's third largest district late Monday over COVID-19 safety protocols, ending a bitter standoff that canceled classes for 5 days. And again, if you're just joining us, the mayor of the city of Chicago has COVID. Hold on. There's a reason why I mention that, because she's all in this story. While school districts nationwide have faced similar concerns amid skyrocketing COVID-19 cases, the labor fight in union-friendly Chicago amplified concerns over remote learning and other pandemic issues. The deal, which would have students in class Wednesday and teachers back a day earlier, actually has been approved. Teachers were back in class today. Students will be in class tomorrow. I got to talk about the mayor, though, and here's her quote. Quote, "We know this has been very difficult for students and families," Mayor Lori Lightfoot said at an evening news conference. Quote, "No one wins when students are out of a place where they can learn the best and where they're safest," close quote. In a dueling news conference, union leaders acknowledged it wasn't a quote home run, but teachers wanted to be back in class with students. The Chicago Teachers Union House of Delegates voted Monday evening to suspend their work action from last week, calling for district-wide online learning until a safety plan had been negotiated or the latest COVID-19 surge had subsided. Now, here's the thing, and I realize I have to set this up for folks who are not in Chicago, and I will do my best to do that. If you're saying to the teachers that the safest place for them to be is in school, but the teachers are saying there aren't enough tests or PPE equipment to make them feel safe. And I saw a friend of mine who is a teacher post on Instagram what they basically got today anyway. It's a can of Clorox sanitizer, wipes, and 2 K95 masks, KN95 masks for them, but not sure what's in it for the kids. That sounds like an L to me. I mean, I'm not the purveyor of saying who took an L and who won, but that sounds like an L for the teachers. The mayor gets what she wants because she's the head of the Chicago public school system for all intents and purposes. The teachers kind of got what they wanted because they want to be back in class. But I'm concerned now about the real safety of these classrooms. And what kind of deal is this? Please join in on the conversation, folks who are watching us today on the various devices and what have you. What do you think? Let's do a quick poll. How about that? We haven't done one of these yet. Let's have a quick poll right now. If you're watching, even if it's, the most benign question you've ever heard in your life. Should the teachers have gone back to school knowing what you know today about our mayor having COVID? That is a very local question. I apologize, but it's worth asking. Just join in the chat either on YouTube or here on the back channel, and let's talk about that for a minute. I am really, the union and the mayor have been fighting for so long since she's been since she got elected, and she inherited. To be fair to her, she inherited a lot of mess from the previous mayor, Rahm Emanuel. But this is different because this doesn't just affect what happens in Chicago. This is a story nationwide. People are watching and they're going, what's going on? Knocked it over. What's going on? What is happening? Why do the teachers want to go back to a class that they don't feel safe in? So I'm wondering what happens if a teacher or teachers or custodian or lunch attendant or child gets sick now. Because according to the Chicago public school system, everything that they need will be provided for them. But what happens if a kid gets sick tomorrow? Things to think about. And I already see a couple of no's. They shouldn't be back in school. I don't think they should either. I mean, I don't think they should be back in school, but I do think that they could do remote learning. The problem with that is they don't have remote learning down right. And too many kids are suffering because of remote learning. And when I had superintendent, that was when I was in Chicago Public Schools. When I had CEO Martinez on my radio show last week, asking him about remote learning, he gave me a vague answer. They don't really have an idea of how they can make it better, which doesn't help. That's something to watch. And we will definitely keep an eye on it. And trust me, I am not letting go of the fact that the mayor has, it ain't funny, but she has COVID. All of that. And she has COVID. I mean, she talked, look, to give you a sports analogy, you know how an athlete might talk a lot when they're playing and it's always blah, blah, blah. She's been yapping and flexing. It's like she's in the WWE. I mean, top rope talk for 5 days, calling people that are adults, telling them they're not listening, calling them out their name, getting into these cat fights, threatening people to go to prosecute when they haven't committed a crime, they just did something that they probably weren't supposed to do. It's been wild here. I hope wherever you live, you're not experiencing the same thing, but man, it's been one in Chicago, Illinois. Hey, you guys have your vaccinations and stuff? Okay, I have a question for you. Do you think you're going to get a fourth one? And that's if you've gotten your 2 vaxes and your booster. Well, maybe that third one wasn't a booster because a fourth shot is on the way. Say what? Yes. And the question is, who will be eligible for the fourth shot this week? Well, those folks that are eligible for a fourth shot are people who are immunocompromised. And you may be eligible for a shot as early as this week. According to updated recommendations from the CDC, people who have a weakened immune system should get an additional primary shot if they received a Pfizer, BioNTech, or Moderna vaccine. This means the fourth shot is actually considered the booster, which some could be eligible for now. The booster is recommended 5 months after the third primary shot. It hasn't been recommended yet for the Johnson & Johnson Janssen single shot. According to CDC, people are considered to be moderately or severely immunocompromised if they are receiving cancer treatment, an organ transplant, a stem cell transplant, advanced or untreated HIV infection, or moderate or severe primary immunodeficiency. So, America, you ready for a fourth shot, which is actually probably maybe more likely the booster shot? So every 6 months, I gotta get a piece of rubber, wrap it around me, do like this, and shoot me? That was dramatic. I'm just saying, every 6 months? That's a lot to ask of people who have been through hell for the last 2 years. But again, the hell continues because we can't get around this as a country right. So it's not just the vaccinated folks, it's the unvaccinated folks too. We're all in this together whether we want to be or not, and here we are. Let's look at some comments from folks. Scott says soon it'll be Booster 3.0, Revenge of Omicron, if it isn't already. That's a good one, my friend. Gary T says nothing surprises me anymore at the rate things are going. Charles Martinez, welcome, Charles. How you doing? He says I'm vaccinated, and he's watching us on YouTube, by the way, which it seems like everyone is. I'm vaccinated and boosted. I'm assuming a fourth is coming. Got COVID 2 weeks after getting my booster. Wow. I know my booster shot was rough. That was I'm pretty sure I had it after I got that. The effects of that shot it took a minute for me to get it together. I did, but it was tough. Not exactly my best moment. I made the mistake of going to work right after I got it, and that proved to be a bad idea. Not the smartest. Not that I have been accused of being super smart, but that was not a good idea. Several media outlets, including the New York Times, are reporting some can get the shot as early as this week. Ultimately, patients should talk with their healthcare provider about what's right for them. The previous guidance was 6 months before getting the booster, which has now been reduced to 5. Wow. Here we go. That shot. Again, this could all be, we can do this. America has done more with less. And here we are again with COVID. I swear, man. And in other community news, safety doors failed in New York high-rise fire that killed 17. And I think, Gliss, I'm not sure, but I think somewhere there's a link if folks want to help out people who are affected by the fire in New York. If you could, because I can't and read at the same time, can you find that for me?
Yeah, I'll
And
look
if
for
you, yeah, if you can find it, let's just kind of get that information out there so folks can know that. I don't mean to produce the show in the middle of the show,
it.
but
You're good.
but if we could get that
This is a
information,
team
if
effort. Everything's a team effort here.
that's you know what we're a team, bro. Although
That's
we're
right.
far away, we're a team. That's right. If you can, and since we're such a great team, if you could put that graphic on the screen, that would
Okay.
be cool.
Yeah, let me find.
Right on. Investigators sought answers Monday for why safety doors failed to close when fire broke out in a New York high rise, allowing thick smoke to rise through the tower and kill 17 people, including 8 children, in the city's deadliest blaze in more than 3 decades. A malfunctioning electric space heater apparently started the fire Sunday in the 19-story building in the Bronx. Fire officials said the flames damaged only a small part of the building, but smoke poured through the apartment's open door and turned stairwells into dark, ash choked death traps. The stairs were the only method of escape in a tower too tall for fire escapes. Wow. And most of those residents, and apparently I'm sorry, let me back up. Apparently, the space heater was used to heat the whole building. I am sure in days to come, there will be folks who will have to bear the brunt of that decision and not getting that building properly heated. I cannot imagine the horror. I think I said this yesterday. I cannot imagine the horror of having to bury a relative that probably didn't have to die in that building. Same thing in Philly with that tragic fire. I'm sure we did a search around the country. There are other buildings that are caught on fire that didn't have smoke detectors or use space heaters. You know, we have to do better, man. We have to do better. That's really a sad story. And that building's full of immigrants and you know, kids dying. No matter how that goes, just makes me utterly, ridiculously sad. So if you have a heart, which I'm sure you do, and once we can get this information, we can put that out there to you. And
yeah, I have it right here. Let me see if let me see what happens if I share my screen here.
cool. This is our first official screen share. Almost says screen share. That's not a word.
You see that there?
I don't see anything.
All right.
Or shoot it to me in our little thingy, and I can read it.
Okay.
So
Oh,
I know I saw it. Huh?
I'll shoot it to you in the chat here, so we have the link for it.
Okay. I know I saw it this morning, and I didn't take the time to write it down because I had the coffee yips. Do you ever have those?
Yeah, I got a late start. I didn't have coffee until about an hour ago. I realized this morning we were out of coffee, and then I had to go out and run some errands this morning. So I was dying until about an hour ago.
Are you gonna call me at 7 o'clock in the morning Chicago time when it's 5 a.m. where you live, talking about, hey man, I'm still up. I can't sleep. Help me.
I drink like 4 or 5 cups of coffee a day, man. I got 4. You got to remember, I got 4 boys at home.
Oh yeah, you need all the energy you can get. We got to get you a contract with the company that the drink gives you wings. I don't want to say their name because I don't know how that works on here. Also, I need a plane and a car. So if any plane or car people are listening, I need a plane and a car. I always ask for the most. If you would like to help the folks in New York City, go to helpnyc.info/disaster. That's helpnyc.info/disaster. This is the time when people get it together. And even if it's $1, man, just something. Because just imagine you live in a high-rise building wherever you live in whatever city you're in, and a fire breaks out and you're homeless. All your stuff is gone. You'd want someone to help you. So go to helpnyc.info/disaster and do it today and do it right away. How many cups of coffee did you say?
I mean, basically what I do, so I go like a little bit of milk, I fill the cup up, and then once it gets down to about a third, then I refill it, and I kind of continue that cycle until probably about 10:30, 11. And then I usually have one more cup around 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is the cup this size?
Yeah, it's right here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're gonna have to get you on a water regimen and something other, because I'm scared now. That's a lot of coffee.
I drink a lot of water too, but
I don't drink enough. I understand you got 4 kids though, and they're boys. So I get you got to be like, okay, guys,
right.
You know. But man, okay, all right. So it makes sense now. So so I can say this on the air. If you need to talk to me, bro, early in the stupid morning, I will wake up to talk to you.
Yeah, because it's funny because we had talked about I was gonna hit you up this morning, and then I realized when I got up it was like 6 o'clock, and I was like, well, I don't know what time he gets up, so I don't know. 8 o'clock, like I don't know. That's kind of in that territory, that gray area. Some people are out of bed, some people are not. So,
hey man, trust and believe. Like I've been up since. What time did I wake up this morning? The sun wasn't up. Sun usually comes up around 7:15 ish. I think I was up at like 4 something this morning.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
But here's the thing: I had a conversation with a lady friend of mine, and it was kind of late, and it wasn't what I thought it was going to turn into.
Okay. Didn't go the way you planned. Yeah.
No, it turned into a griping session, and I had to listen because she's a friend. And of course, you know, I'm always hoping for the best for myself. So, oh my God, I don't believe I said that. So again, didn't turn into what I thought. So I stayed up and I went to sleep and I had my radio on in my room and it was getting into my dreams. And I woke up, I'm like, oh man, I've only been sleeping an hour. And that was like at midnight. So I stayed up for a while and then I went to sleep again around 4 something. And then I woke up at 6:30 something. That's what it was. Not that any damn one cares, but I'm just saying, you call me, bro.
All right. Yeah, well, and you got 2 hours on me, so now I know.
Yeah, I mean, I can't go any place because everybody's got COVID, or the sky is on fire, or the court has got Maya Angelou on them, or, you know, outbreak monkey. I can't go any place. I'm stuck in the house.
Yeah.
What if that would be the end. The outbreak monkey. That's it. I'm building a ship. I'm gonna be like Robert Goddard. I'm gonna build myself a ship and I'm flying. Okay, we got more to come. The second half of the show, we've got a review of what's going on with our billboard at the top of the hour. I'm sorry. Also, we've got celebrity news, new Fresh Prince reboot. I am excited about it. I know some people are not, but I am. I really want to know what the deal is with that. We'll talk about Betty White. Talk about Apple and what they did. And we got an obit too. And also the world of sports. I'll put my sports hat back on and we'll do some play ball. Is that game still going on, Gliss? Alabama and Georgia, are they still playing? What quarter is it in?
Yeah.
You sure? They kick another field goal? That's like the 95th field goal? That was, oh boy, I can't wait to talk about that. That was long. We've got that and more coming up on The Drive with Mario Smith. You're watching The Drive with Mario Smith on Backchannel.tv. You're also watching it on YouTube, I hope. And if you are so inclined, please subscribe to Backchannel.tv so that you can catch all the shows. All. And then maybe somebody will call you late at night and you can do this. We'll be back in a minute. You're watching The Drive with Mario Smith. Welcome back to The Drive with Mario Smith. My name is Mario Smith. We are live from Chicago, Illinois. It is 4 o'clock Central. A few minutes before that, actually. It's 3:57 Central. And we appreciate your patronage 57 minutes after the hour, wherever you happen to be. And we're doing some of the... we got a lot to talk about in the second hour of the show. Thank you if you joined us in the first. We really appreciate it. If you are so inclined, tell your friends to join us every day. Actually, let me clarify. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. You can join us here at 3 p.m. Central for The Drive with Mario Smith. Let's give you a billboard what's going on at this hour. And it's rough. It is rough. The Red Cross declares first ever national blood crisis. You know what, Gliss? We cannot do this to ourselves.
It's hard to get away from it. It's hard to get away from it.
Ooh, I understand it now. That's why, you know what? Now, okay. The nation's blood supply is dangerously low, prompting the Red Cross to announce a national blood crisis for the first time. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused a decline in donor turnout, the cancellation of blood drives, and staffing challenges, leading to the worst blood shortage in more than a decade, the Red Cross said. Last year, the Red Cross saw a 34% decline in new donors. Quote, if the nation's blood supply does not stabilize soon, life-saving blood may not be available for some patients when it's needed, close quote. It warned in a joint statement with America's Blood Centers and the Association for the Advancement of Blood and Biotherapies. Blood shortage in the land. Wow. So I okay. I direct you to go donate blood. I have said it. Mario Smith says, donate blood. 4 people survived a medical helicopter crash in Pennsylvania. One of those 4 people is an infant. All 4 passengers on a medical helicopter carrying a 2-month-old baby girl to a hospital in Pennsylvania survived when that helicopter crashed next to a church on this afternoon. Officials called the landing, which also did not injure anyone on the ground, a miracle. A pilot, a crew, this sound that won't stop, and the infant all survived. And that's what's happening at this hour. Wow. So watch yourself, Gliss, out here on these streets, those Portland streets, because, now there's no blood. You gotta be careful. Gotta be real careful, sir.
And we thought things weren't going to get worse, and then that story.
Didn't even think they were going to get worse before we started the second hour of the show. Ha ha! Fooled again. How about that? Join us in the chat, friends, and let us know what's going on. We are here for you. Backchannel.tv. If you're watching us on YouTube, please go into the live chat. Hello to Nathan and Stacy, and again to Skill Killer the Rapper. What's up, Gary T, Margie, Scott, and Charles. Hey, everybody. Thank you for watching, and everybody else that's checking us out. However you might be watching us, you might be on one of your Amazon supported devices, and we like that. So thank you. And subscribe, so that you can hit that notification bell too, so that you can be updated whenever you see one of the shows here on Backchannel.tv. I watched Live this morning, by the way. It's one of my favorite shows on here now.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to catch your pal Hal because I am working, trying to get ready for this. And I made a mistake yesterday. I called Anthony Davis Anthony David. That was an error on my part. And Mr. Davis, I apologize. I really, really like your show. I don't know where you're broadcasting from, but it is both entertaining and lovely all at the same time. Peace to you, my friend. I'm glad to be a teammate, and I'm glad to be in the company of greatness. We have some really dope shows on Backchannel. We hope people will continue to check them out. And we're building. We're building. We're building. I promise this is going to be a ride you will be awfully glad that you got on. So let's have some celebrity news. Have no fear. The camera's here. It's celebrity news time on The Drive. So, everyone's a fan of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, for sure. How could you not be Will Smith? You know, who doesn't like Will Smith? He went and lost a whole lot of weight to make sure you did not like him. And he might win an Academy Award for the Serena and Venus movie. Which have you seen it? Anybody? The movie is dope. He's really good at his job. I know 7 Pounds is floating around on the streaming services now. Watch that movie too. He can go. I mean, say what you want about him. Will Smith got chops, man. He's not a slouch when it comes to act, in my humble opinion. Not a slouch at all. And speaking of the Fresh Prince reboot turns up the drama in its first trailer. And this is from CNN. Bel Air's iconic Fresh Prince is getting a fresh new look 30 years later. The Fresh Prince of Bel Air, the beloved sitcom starring Will Smith that aired for 6 seasons in the 90s, is officially coming back, being rebooted as simply Bel Air on NBC streaming service Peacock. Peacock released the first trailer for the series on Monday and announced it would begin streaming on February 13th. I saw the trailer. I'm interested. I like the idea of them flipping it and turning it into a drama. There's funny stuff in it too, but I like that. What you think, Jake Bliss? Did you check it out?
Yeah, I was into it. I think, and we kind of talked about this yesterday. I can't remember what we were talking about. It was with Full House. We were talking about Full House.
Yeah.
I like the idea. If you're gonna do something, go a different direction, and don't try to be the original. You know, like take it in a different direction. Do something fresh. No pun intended.
I see what
I had to get a bad joke in too.
Thank you, because that one I told earlier just was the worst. It stunk. That was horrible.
Yeah, but do something new. Take it a different direction. So I think it has some promise.
Yeah, and I mean the worst that can happen is that it doesn't work. You still have the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, which is still funny and super iconic. But I like this idea, and I like that they're being bold with the direction that they're taking. Should be fun to watch, and I will definitely be tuned in and involved on that one. People are asking about. Oh, by the way, I'm sorry. It will start streaming in February on February 13th. If I didn't mention that already, if I did, I apologize. Betty White's death was caused by a stroke suffered 6 days before her death. And I guess there's some Bob Saget news that'll be floating around soon too. He apparently had a battle with COVID, which he did not disclose. So I think we'll be hearing about that down the line. Betty White died from a stroke she had 6 days before her December 31st death at age 99, according to her death certificate. The beloved Golden Girls and Mary Tyler Moore show actor died at her home in the Brentwood section of Los Angeles as the result of a December 25th cerebrovascular accident, the medical term for a stroke, according to the LA County death certificate obtained Monday by the AP. The cause was provided by White's doctor, as is typical in such cases. Jeff Whitjas, White's longtime agent and friend who first confirmed her death to the AP, said she had been staying close to her Los Angeles home during the pandemic. The document lists White's legal name of Betty Marion Ludden. She took the last name of her husband, Alan Ludden, to whom she was married from 1963 until his death in 1981. So, wow, there you are. Still a little bothered by that. Man, Betty White, man. It's a shame. 99 though, wonderful life. She did her thing. She truly did her thing, and she'll be missed. That's for sure. Let's roll this one out on you too. Apple has paid a reported $225 million for Brad Pitt's Formula One movie, keeping it out of Netflix's hands. Brad Pitt will be playing a racer who comes out of retirement to mentor a younger driver and take his final stab at glory on the track as the younger driver's teammate. And of course, the director of Top Gun Maverick, I got some questions to ask about that too. Joseph Kosinski will helm, and Aaron Kruger is writing the script. Top Gun's Jerry Bruckheimer is producing alongside Plan B. All right, I have many questions. Who in the world is Plan B? And if any of you folks are in Los Angeles that can tell me who Plan B is, I'd appreciate that. Number two, of course, somebody affiliated with Top Gun would have to do this, right? Because this would be Brad Pitt's Tom Cruise moment where he reintroduces himself as a Formula One racer. And okay, I guess I watch a lot of Formula One. I'm a fan. What is he gonna do? What is he gonna? Is it gonna be him and some sexy lady in a bar, and they're gonna go outside and race cars through the street? I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it. What you think, Gliss? I don't want to be involved in it. I don't want any parts of it.
I guess I always wait to see the trailer. Just I'm a feel person, so I got to see the eye test and see what it looks like. I was gonna say I think if I'm not mistaken, I think Plan B is Brad Pitt's movie production company. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it may be. My only thought is, because I have to watch a lot of kids' movies, is that the plot sounds a lot like the movie Cars.
Not just
so that was the first thing I thought of when I read the story. I was like, that sounds a lot like the movie Cars. That Pixar.
It's got Cars written all over it.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I don't know, we'll see.
My skepticism. First of all, if you paid $220 million for it to keep it out of Netflix hands, it must be something redeeming in it. That's a lot to ask.
Yeah, and I think that's actually, I think, the most interesting part of this story is because of the pandemic, the way these things work have changed so much in the last couple of years, with movies being released, same day on streaming platforms as they go into the theaters, or like Disney does it, you can pay the $30 premium for the new movies. So I think that's kind of the interesting little nugget hidden in there, because the way we watch movies has changed a lot in the last couple of years because of the pandemic, and the way that the studios are deciding to distribute and get the movies out there.
Right. And I mean, the streaming services are kind of taking over. Here's the thing with the streaming, though. The idea was to get away from cable and to cut the cord. Not so much. You're paying a lot of money for your Peacock, your Paramount Plus, your Netflix, and Peacock is free, but you got to get Peacock Premium to watch anything. Perfect example, the Olympics, the Winter Olympics, which start in a couple of weeks, all of that is Peacock.
Yep.
Like almost all of it.
Yep.
So you got to have some loot, man. That's why we need these jobs, so I can get all of them. I want every streaming service, ESPN Plus, if they got it, I want it. Give me it. I got to pay for Apple. Didn't want to, but Ted Lasso, again, my joint is on
such a good
Apple.
show.
I love that show, man.
That show is absolutely brilliant. It's so thoughtful. It has so much heart, and it's hilarious. It's so different than I thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. I had actually put it off for a long time because I had seen him kind of do that shtick on, I believe it was NBC. He kind of had that character that he'd done some skits with, and I thought it was going to be more of a slapstick show. And then once I watched the first episode, I was just hooked. It's an amazing show.
Jason Sudeikis is the man. I would love, now you talk about a get, Gliss. I'd love to have him on here.
I'll write that down.
Yeah, I'm not kidding. He's kind of accessible though. I got a friend here in Chicago that my buddy Justin Kaufman, who's with Axios Chicago, they know each other. I might have to ask.
It'd be great to get him on the show.
Oh man,
even better, in character. We got to get Ted Lasso on the show. That's what we need.
That would be too much. I wouldn't know how to act, because he is everything. That character is everything good that people are not.
Yeah.
Even with all the foibles and him going through the super painful anxiety that he has, and he's a divorcee, and he's got a kid that lives in another country that he's trying to help. Right? It's that thing. That show is. He's
almost unintentionally just like the most inspiring person ever.
Yeah. So let's make that happen. All right, everybody, this is what we're going to do. We're going to will it to be. I want to get Jason Sudeikis on this show. I know that there are people who can make this happen who are watching us. Let's get on it. Anytime we can. Clearly, he doesn't have to be in a studio, so we can do it. Let's get Jason Sudeikis on here, man. That would be cool, right? My man Gary said, "Get him." Can you imagine that, Gliss? That would be great.
I'm gonna start working on that as soon as the show's over. You gotta plant the seeds and just see where it goes. That's what getting guests is all about, man.
That's right. And that's right. If you don't try, I mean, we're new, but what do we have to lose?
That's right. And we don't want just any guests. We want to have good guests that can add something to the show. So.
And I, as a rule, it has to be like, I want somebody the next day to go, did you see what happened on the drive? Mario had Barack Obama on. Oh, wow. Can we get Barack Obama? I'm there. Can we get Barack Obama too? What is he doing? Building a building in Chicago? Library.
He's got to be around there somewhere sometime.
He's not too far from me. So he's got time. He's definitely got time. And to close out our celebrity news here on Have No Fear, the camera's here. Woodstock co-creator Michael Lang has died at the age of 77. The concert promoter who organized the iconic music festival, which saw 32 popular music acts perform outside in sporadic rain in 1969, sadly lost his battle with a rare form of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma on Saturday, on the 8th of January. A family spokesperson confirmed. I am 2 years older than Woodstock. I can tell you that the effects of Woodstock remain in terms of concert promotion and major events in this country. It is the gold standard on how you do it. It was, well, or how not to do it, as it were. Jimi Hendrix's performance, of course, with the Star Spangled Banner is legendary, but it's the people who didn't perform, I think, that make more noise. There are a bunch of bands, and I would have to get the whole list because I'd like to be able to read them off properly, that did not perform at Woodstock. I believe Crosby, Stills, and Nash as one of those bands that did not perform. It's crazy. But Woodstock, that was wild. And everyone performed. And there were a lot of illegal things taking place during Woodstock. Don't know if the Woodstock, what was it, Woodstock 88?
Yeah, there's been a couple since then, not nearly as successful, but
and probably far more dangerous.
Oh, the last one was the last one for a reason. It became incredibly dangerous. I think it was 99.
That's the one.
Yeah, there's a documentary about that, and man, if you want to see some stuff, go watch that documentary.
And I take that back. Crosby, Stills, and Nash did perform. I'm thinking Joni Mitchell is the one who did not perform, and she was supposed to, and at the last moment decided that she wasn't going to. They definitely performed because okay. Again, I'm 2 years older than it, so it takes me a minute to get the memory going. But, I find it. Also, I do want to mention another celebrity passing, and his name may not be familiar to a lot of folks, but his music probably is. James Ntume made his transition a couple of days ago. James Ntume made a song that most folks are familiar with, I believe, called Juicy Fruit. He also made he made a lot of songs and produced a lot of records. A percussionist, played on a lot of people's stuff. He also had a song called You, Me, and He with the band Ntume. He was that dude. I promise you, Juicy Fruit gets played on Chicago radio quite often. It is not like people don't hear it. And that song is old. That song is probably 30-something years old. So peace and blessings to James Ntume. And may his transition be a smooth one. That's Have No Fear, the camera's here. We've got sports coming up. We're a little bit early. We'll take a break though, and we'll come back and we'll play ball with you. And quickly, Ntume was the son of Jimmy Heath, correct, from the Heath brothers. And the Heath brothers are also dope. If you don't know, do a little Googling and get your music on. We'll be back with more of The Drive with Mario Smith in a moment here on Backchannel.tv, YouTube, and on all your Amazon-supported devices. And hey to everybody watching, Nathan and Skill Killer and Gary and Margie and Scott and all y'all. Be back in a bit. Let's take a look at sports. It's time to play ball. That means I have put on one of the most wonderful hats ever. Chicago White Sox, baby. The Campbell Soup C. Yes.
I don't think I've seen that one. That's a good looking hat.
This was 19. What did Harold Baines say to me? Okay. I think 1983, something like that. But yeah, this is when Tom Seaver played for the White Sox when this was a thing. Okay. Yeah, many years ago. And I just got word that the game between Georgia and Alabama just ended in the last couple of minutes. Georgia snaps a 41-year title drought with a 33-18 win over Bama, and it was a something last night. Did you watch any of that?
Yeah, I watched a little bit. I
tried.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, I always, anytime there's a big game, I try to watch it. I'll admit, like, out of my kind of sports view, like, college football is probably lowest. You know, it's kind of lower on the totem pole.
We are more alike than we are different. I'm not a college football guy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a big game. I'm going to watch it. Yeah, being on the West Coast, when I worked in sports radio, covered a lot of Pac-12 stuff. So, you know, it's not that I don't like college football. It's just the NFL is the real deal to me. And, you know, it's just you have to prioritize sometimes where you're, you know, putting your attention. And college football is just not really where most of my attention is most of the time.
I got to say, being a Bears fan, I'm watching a lot more college football than I normally would because we need a left tackle, a wide receiver, tight end, a couple of linemen, and a partridge in a pear tree. We need it all.
You're scouting for the Bears, trying to make some suggestions.
Every day since I can remember, I've been scouting for the Chicago Bears. Every day since 1985, I've been trying to make them a better team. And I am unpaid in my job. But I guess I could have a job with the Bears because they'll hire anybody because they had a GM. Maybe this doesn't work out. I might be the GM. Who knows? Good game last night. Both defenses played really well. I think the tell in that game was just how good Georgia is on defense, man, because Alabama had no answers. They could not figure it out at all the whole game. And once Georgia's offense got clicking, their defense even got better. It was a really, really good game, all things considered. It took about 95 hours for them to play it. Part of the reason probably why I couldn't sleep aside from my phone call. And if she's watching this, man, she is not going to be happy with me. I may have messed up for real. But decent game. I mean, and I said it would be close. That was my prediction yesterday.
You did.
But it was only close for a half. After that, it was like over. They got in there and said, nope, this will not be happening to us. We are not going to lose this game. No, sir. And I contend, even though that's a loss for Nick Saban, and I said he'd come out on a win, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. He might say, you know, I'm done with this college stuff. Maybe. Who knows? There's a lot of names floating around in the NFL world in football. But you know what I'm ready for is baseball. And this report in The Athletic caught my attention. They are doing their national Major League Baseball fan survey, the lockout edition, as they're calling it. So me and you are going to take this test real quick.
All right, let's do it.
If it'll let me. And of course it won't let me. So I have to go to the phone. Hold on. This is why there's always a phone nearby, because you never know when you have to pivot. That's the secret of a great show. Pivot.
Right.
All right, let me put my eyes back on you real quick here. Okay. The survey is very, very involved. You know what? Speaking of pivot, can we pivot real quick to the NBA All-Star picks? I just want to do that really fast.
Yeah.
Who's earned a spot in your mind? Let's go with your guys with Portland. You don't hear much about Dame. Is he hurt?
He's hurt. I think I'm waiting for them to. It sounds like they're close to shutting him down. He had a abdominal injury in the Olympics last summer, and he just really hasn't been right. And the way they have this young kid that's been kind of they've been giving him the playing time. They drafted him a couple of years ago, Anthony Simons, and
Oh, he is good.
he's been going off. I mean,
He is good.
yeah, and so I think what's on the horizon is they're going to shut Dame down, and then I think you're probably going to see Nurkic and CJ, maybe some other guys on their way out of town, and they're going to kind of reshuffle this thing next year to get some guys that fit into Chauncey Billups' system a little bit more. So I think that's where it's headed in Portland. I don't think you're going to see much Dame the rest of this year. So.
Wow, that's a shame. LeBron makes the team, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's LeBron. Yeah.
He's also, it's starting to show a little bit because I saw some highlights when he was
finally seeing he is unbeaten and he's finally starting to show some signs that he's getting there.
A little bit, not a lot, but a little bit. And like they had some highlights playing on something of when he first got in the league when he was 18 years old.
Yeah.
Compared to like now, he's playing rec ball in a lot of these early games. I think he turns it on for the playoffs because he can. But it's it looks like a lot of rec league ball with Bron.
Yeah.
Good for him. The way he did my Bulls. I don't care about him. I think, speaking of the Bulls, I think DeMar DeRozan makes it, and I think somehow Levine makes it. They got to. That's just too much.
He's having a good year, man.
Better than anybody expected. I will say it again. When they announced his signing, I was like, the Bulls are on their way. And everybody thought I was insane. And I was like, keep that same energy because they're going to be good. I don't know if they'll be able to play defense. Then they showed that they play a lot of defense. They're good. Don't know how good it's going to end up. But right now, though, as a Bulls fan, very, very, very happy. By the way, Stephanie co-signed with you. Plan B is Brad and Jen's production company.
All right.
Oh, Brad and Jen. That's a thing again? We might have to go back to celebrity news. I didn't know they were together.
Maybe just business partners, I guess. I don't know.
Hey, Brad Pitt in business, Brad, love is Brad Pitt's business. Oh man. All right. We have let's get to that survey. So let's take the survey. Me and you, and this is the Athletics 2022 National Major League Baseball Fan Survey. All right. Number one, we won't do them all, but we'll do a few of them. Number one, which of the following best describes your feelings about the current overall state of Major League Baseball? And for folks that don't know, the owners have locked the players out. The union starts negotiating Thursday, I believe, to try to figure out what's going on and to get a settlement so they can get to spring training. So I can come out west, Gliss, so I can see the White Sox at Camelback Ranch in a AZ.
You do some spring training?
Oh, I've never done it, but I want to. I'm a White Sox fan, dude, and I want to see it
too. Yeah.
Oh, I've never done that. I want to do it.
Big one as a sports fan for me, for sure.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I started going, like, I've been to a Bears training camp when they were in Bourbonnais. I didn't like that so much. I mean, I like seeing the guys doing their thing. That was cool, but it was so weird.
Yeah.
First of all, just before we do this, people in general at these things are just really fanatical. So that's weird. Yeah. I just kind of want to see the guys. I want to talk to them if I can, which is in spring training, you have a pretty decent chance of doing it. Yeah. And I want to enjoy myself and watch a game. I don't need to compete to be like, I went to spring training. I just want to go. Those people, like, they'll let you know when you go to a game at like Guarantee Rate Field. I was at spring training. We saw them in Arizona. Like, so what? Just don't know. No one cares.
I don't think that gives you any seniority or anything in your.
I had a chance to talk to Eloy Menace up close because I was in Arizona. Okay, so leave me alone. Where you sit? Where are your seats?
Right.
Which of the following best describes your feelings about the current overall state of MLB? Happy, hopeful, disappointed, angry, indifferent.
I'm going to go with hopeful.
I'm going to say disappointed. Yeah. This should have never gotten to this place. And Rob Manfred is really a terrible, terrible Excuse me while I rub my eyes. A terrible commissioner.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
He is awful. How he got that gig? Who does he have pictures of someone? What does he know? Question 2: who are you most upset with over MLB's lockout and ongoing labor strife? Owners, players, both equally.
Owners.
Owners for sure.
Yeah.
Number 3: do you expect the lockout will cause spring training to be shortened or canceled? Yes or no?
Since I said I'm hopeful, I'm going to say no.
I'm hoping that they resolve this before February, so I'm going to go with no. I wouldn't be surprised if running right into pitchers and catchers reporting that they resolve it. Number 4: do you expect the lockout will delay or shorten the regular season?
No.
No, they'll add days if they have to. They'll play in the snow before they don't get money.
I mean, the MLB more than probably any of the other major leagues. They just that would be a bad look. They can't afford to be doing that.
No. Let's take a couple more. 2 more. How would you rate the job Rob Manfred has done as MLB commissioner? 1 to 5, 5 being excellent and 1 being poor.
-2.
He's really bad at his job.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I was done with him when he said the World Series trophy was just a piece of metal. That's when I was like, yeah, I'm good. Which of these issues would you most like to see addressed this offseason? Pace of play. I'm kind of down with pace of play. Although I like the idea of a long game, but I'm down with pace of play.
Yeah.
Designated hitter. Both leagues, yeah?
I've come around to it. If you would ask me 10 years ago, I grew up a Giants fan, so I'm used to National League. And, during some of those World Series teams, guys like Madison Bumgarner, those guys can rake. So, it's fun watching a pitcher go out there and dominate and then hit a, triple down the line and get 2 RBIs. But I have come around to the idea that it's probably going to improve the overall quality of the game.
I think so too. It'll be interesting. Minor league pay and living conditions. That should be addressed, yeah?
Absolutely. Those guys, the major leagues is one thing, but it's a whole different world for those guys coming up. And, they got to take care of them a little bit.
I agree. Tanking.
Yeah, that's always such a tricky question.
But I don't think that needs to be addressed.
Yeah,
it's not a issue.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it as a priority. I would say that.
And this is the one for me: broadcast blackouts.
Oh yeah.
Why is it that I can't watch on my package a White Sox game?
Yeah.
Because I live in the same city that they play in.
Right.
I think that's crazy. If I want to watch it that way, I got my phone, I've got a computer.
I have a feeling we could do an entire segment on how twisted some of the sports broadcast deals are. Because, I like, the same thing with the NFL. You can't, like, for instance, this last weekend, there's whatever games they put on. I live in Seattle territory. You couldn't watch the 49ers game, and it was a playoff game for them.
Right.
And it seems like in this day and age, we were talking about all the streaming services. It seems like it would have been figured out by now. If you want to pay a premium to watch your team play, you should be able to watch them play no matter where you live.
No matter where, and no matter when. That's
the
just
technology's
weird.
there. It just seems silly.
Yeah. Speaking of hockey, I listened to the Seattle Kraken game last night.
Oh yeah.
Against Colorado, the Avalanche. It just messes my head up every time I hear the announcers go, the Kraken, because I'm like, word, really? That's the name for real? That's really the name?
Yeah.
But they tried. It was a tight game last night. I think they lost 3-2.
Yeah.
It was good. I was listening to KJR out of Seattle.
I kind of want to go up there and check it out. My one of my brothers and my parents currently live in Seattle. And I know my brother's been he's been wanting to go check it out. And my dad saw the Eagles at the stadium that they built there,
Oh, nice.
the arena they built there, and he said it's a nice place. So I'd like to go check out a hockey. Hockey is so much better live than it is on TV, in my opinion.
And that is not
Great live sport.
Man, and I've been to, believe it or not, only one Chicago hockey team. I can't call them by their name game, and I can call them the Blackhawks. It's just I'm still mad about how they handled that whole thing with Kyle Beach. It's gonna take a minute for me to watch them, like really watch them, but the atmosphere at a game, it is really electric. It's really cool to see them because I had the benefit of sitting right up on the glass. So when they would check a guy on the glass, I'm like, well, okay, I can watch hockey forever. And I've always liked hockey. It's a good sport to me. And whatever for the Blackhawks. In fact, speaking of hockey, on the scoreboard tonight, Blackhawks against the Blue Jackets, Pistons, Bulls in the NBA. The Thunder play the Wizards. The Suns go up against the Raptors. The Timberwolves, I almost called them the Tender Pups because they're tender. The Timberwolves play the Pelicans. Full slate tonight. Warriors against the Grizzlies. The Nuggets against the Clippers. In the NHL, the Lightning go against the Sabres. The Hurricane and Flyers match has been postponed. Canucks against the Panthers. The Colorado Avalanche against Nashville. And the Islanders and the Flames have been postponed. And it looks like the NHL is trying to make up for all the games they missed. Penguins, Ducks tonight. The Maple Leafs. I might have to listen to that one against the Golden Knights of Las Vegas and the Detroit Red Wings. And no one in Chicago likes the Detroit Red Wings. I don't care what you hear. We don't. They're playing against another team we don't like, the Sharks. Let's see here. Okay, let's move on. There's a very interesting story about Chauncey Billups called Kyrie Irving the most skilled point guard in history. I got some thoughts about that, and he's not far off from the truth. I just wonder how this whole "I don't want to play because I don't want to get vaccinated" thing has soiled his rep, maybe. Portland Trail Blazers coach and former NBA Finals MVP Chauncey Billups says, and Chauncey's the man. He would know. Says he believes Nets guard Kyrie Irving is the quote most skilled player unquote ever to play the point guard position. Quote, Kyrie is he's just a wizard, man. Close quote. I like when I can't talk like athlete talk. I could, but I just won't. Billups said before the Blazers 114-108 win over the Nets on Monday night, quote, he's must-see TV. I personally think, as somebody that played the position, I think Kyrie's the most skilled player that's ever played that position. Just straight skill, nothing else, just straight skill. I think he's the best that I've ever seen at the position skill-wise. So obviously he gives you a ton when he's playing. What do you think about that? Kyrie is the most skilled point guard. So Steph Curry is not, and Derrick Rose in his prime is not. Magic Johnson isn't or wasn't. Isaiah Thomas.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's kind of like when people have that Mount Rushmore conversation. It's so hard when you start making comparisons. You know, when people try to compare Jordan to LeBron, like, I mean, in different eras, the rules were different.
Right.
The style of play is different. I get I kind of see where he's going, like in the context of what he said, like the full explanation. I can see why he said that, you know, in terms of just, you know, his handles, just his fundamentals, I guess, is kind of, that's kind of what I think was hidden in there. What he was trying to get at is that he's just a fundamentally sound point guard. But like you said, man, I mean, there's been a lot of great. I mean, we have a ton of great point guards in the league just in the last 10 years.
Man,
when you think about all the guys, and you think about a young guy like Ja Morant that's coming on, Damian Lillard, Steph Curry, like there's a lot of great point guards in the last decade. And like you said, then you start talking about guys like Isaiah Thomas, and all those guys, Magic Johnson. So I don't know. It's a little tough. I couldn't come to that conclusion personally, but I can see where he was going.
And take into account the last couple of years of the NBA has been the reemergence of the point guard.
Yeah.
It was a lot of there is no point guard or shooting guard, they're just guards. Well, that's changed a bit, and I think I'd like to give credit to Derrick Rose for changing that, because he was a point guard that was not afraid to go to the rack and dunk on you, and that changed how coaches looked at that position. I think Ja Morant is a monster. I am so afraid of when the Bulls play Memphis in a couple of weeks, man. I don't want none of that. When he got drafted, Gliss, I was so angry the Bulls did not get him. I'm glad that things have turned out the way that they have for the Bulls, but I so wanted Ja Morant to play here, man. Either here or like on the Knicks or something, just so everybody can see it. But that block he pulled the other night, they are still talking about that. He was halfway up the backboard glass.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was like a LeBron type of block, except this guy plays point guard, and it's like he's not 6'8" like LeBron,
Not at all. Not at all. But I dare say, especially now that LeBron is doing his YMCA rec league stuff, far more athletic than any guard we've seen in a long time. Aside from, again, the aforementioned Derrick Martell Rose, number one in your playbook and in your heart for the Chicago Bulls. There is live basketball happening right now in the NCAA. Hofstra against Towson is taking place, and Hofstra is behind by a point there. USC and Stanford are playing, and there are more games tonight. One coming up shortly, actually. South Carolina against Tennessee. Rutgers plays Penn State this evening. Massachusetts against Davidson. Steph Curry's old school Davidson. Bowling Green against Ohio. Eastern Kentucky against North Alabama. Central Michigan, Eastern Michigan. Games of note: DePaul against Marquette. Texas against the champion Baylor team. Pittsburgh and Syracuse, an old Big East game. Those used to be so good back in the day. I might have to check that one out tonight too. So we've got stuff. Northern Illinois against Kent State. They're balling. We're back in business now. COVID's gone from the report we had an hour ago. It's so we can have sports. And then the power rankings in the NBA. This is big stuff. I don't know, man. I don't know. Okay, the Golden State would be number one. I agree with that. The Bulls are the number 2 team. They were previously fourth, 26-11. They got Pistons tonight and Nets tomorrow. Utah Jazz is number 3. I like the Jazz.
Yeah, they're tough.
They're real. I like watching them play. The Miami Heat. There's a thing though. Jimmy Butler's hurt.
Yeah.
Not sure how that's going to go. They're the 4th ranked team, and the Phoenix Suns, who were 5th, are still 5th. Everybody was talking about the Suns a couple of weeks ago. They're 30-9. They're still decent.
Yeah,
that's a good team. The Nets are 6th. The Bucks are 7th. You know what, man? Giannis, that other shoe hasn't dropped yet in the Central. They bother me. The Memphis Grizzlies, who we spoke about earlier, are number 8. The 76ers are 9th. And the Dallas Mavericks, who the Bulls just lost to, actually, are 10th in the power rankings. I like my Bulls, man.
I like them too.
I'm not a gambler, but if I was, I'd put my money on them to do well.
Yeah, man. Like we talked about yesterday, it's good to see a team like that, one of those franchises. You got to have those guys doing well, especially with how disappointing the Lakers have been. You got all those guys down there playing, all the hype coming in, and remember, it was kind of funny because people were criticizing, like, well, they look good on paper, but a lot of these guys are, going out of their prime. And they had all that talk about you just wait and see and all this and that. And it's been a total dud. So.
You're being kind because we can't say what we want to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, they have been bad. That's a look at sports with Play Ball. We appreciate that. Born on this date. whew, this guy would be a billion years old. Alexander Hamilton was born on this date in 1755. He's really, he's old.
He's really old. Yeah.
I think somebody needs to check on him, make sure he's all right. Get that guy some water. He probably needs a drink.
Who knew that he would be so significant in pop culture in the year 2022, though?
Yeah, there's that, because, I'm not going to mess up my shot or whatever it is from that doggone play. Hey, E Street Band saxophonist Clarence Clemens' birthday was today. He was born in 1942. And Naomi Judd from The Judge, she's 76 years old. Ooh, she was born in 1946. I like her. I'm a big fan of The Judge. On this day in 2003, calling the death penalty process arbitrary and capricious, and therefore immoral, Illinois Governor George Ryan commutes the sentences of 167 condemned inmates 2 days before leaving office. I'm going to tell you, Gliss, when I saw that this morning, that man, a lot of people were angry. I believe had he tried to run, he would have lost because of that alone.
Yeah, I bet.
People were hot.
That's a hot issue for sure.
Oh, people in Illinois.
I can only imagine.
Ooh-wee. I remember that. That was not a good day for. I mean, it was a great day if you're a proponent of that. But for him, he caught a lot. And then he went to jail shortly afterwards, as all Illinois governors will go, except for JB. On the music calendar in 1975, You Are So Beautiful by one of my favorite artists ever, Joe Cocker, enters the U.S. top 40. Oh, I love Joe Cocker.
So good.
I'm a fan. Yeah, man, his voice is incredible. And, she came in through the bathroom window and all that stuff. I love him. Another one of my favorite bands, although I'm not so happy with Chrissie Hynde anymore, the Pretenders' self-titled debut album is released in 1980. And that album is great. As a matter of fact, I need to put that on my list of albums that I want to have. In 1982, Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd hits its 400th week on Billboard's Hot 200 Albums chart. I bet it's still there.
I bet it probably is still there.
I bet it's still there. Oh, I got a story about that when I locked myself in my room and played that album and scared my family to death. That was fun. In 1983, Prince's album 1999 is certified gold, another great one. In 1974, The Joker by Steve Miller Band is certified gold. On this date in 1984, Michael Jackson's album Thriller becomes the best-selling album of all time when it crosses the 10 million mark. The previous record holder was the soundtrack to Saturday Night Fever, and on the same day, Michael Jackson was nominated for a then record 12 Grammy Awards.
Pretty crazy.
In 1992, a really great album, the debut album from Nirvana, Nevermind, is #1 on the U.S. album charts. And before we bounce, a couple of states, the most popular cocktail in every state during the pandemic. These are just some highlights. In Arizona, what would you think it would be?
I don't know. This list surprised any sense to me.
It's me neither. It's a Jack and Coke. I can see.
I mean,
that.
I'm good with that. I like the Jack and Coke.
I mean, Illinois is not on here, but I can tell you it's not any of these things that I mentioned. In New England, it's a Moscow Mule. In Las Vegas, in Nevada, rather, it's a Shirley Temple. Oh no, it's not. Stop lying.
I couldn't even wrap my head around that. Like, how is that? People literally go there to just get loaded and walk around in a strip of buildings full of lights. How can it be a Shirley Temple?
It is not. I guarantee. Unless you're telling me you drink a Shirley Temple so you can stay up and gamble all night. No. No.
Yeah, I think this list seems flawed in my opinion. I mean, the Huffington Post, trust them, but I don't know. I would like to know more about the process of what went into this.
Going behind the curtain a little bit, California is where all of this is housed for the most part. Guess what the #1 drink in California is? And I don't believe this either. A Paloma? No. Who did this list? How dare them?
Or Yeah, I mean, and again, I thought a lot of these were surprising. Like just the names, just the drinks in general, like do not seem drinks that would be high up on anybody's list. A wine cooler in Pennsylvania, like
No.
really?
In Oregon,
They did not make drinks there. They just go to the store and buy wine coolers.
no. I know people that live in Pennsylvania, and that's a no. In your state, a lemon drop martini, that sounds more like Chicago.
Yeah.
Or like Illinois. I bet, well, I know what the number one drink in Illinois is. It's beer, my friend. Old style beer. All day, all night. Beers. Can we get some beers with our tavern cut pizza, please? And I got to read this before we take a break and close out. Please, more of this. World, just give me more of this because this is so stupid. Norwegian men, soldiers, must return their underwear at the end of their military services. Due to the supply chain shortages, Norway will now require the military personnel to surrender their military issued underwear at the end of their service. That explains where the term going commando comes from. That's awesome. Dude, if you were in the military, first of all, if you're fighting in the military, I don't think you want to return that underwear. Something tells me you need to.
Yeah, I think if I was going into the Norwegian military, I want to be at the front of the line now. If that's that's what's going on.
I'm coming in as a general or admiral.
I don't want to be wearing anybody else's underwear after
all. No, how do you? Who's first of all, and then we gotta go take a break. Who's cleaning said underwear?
Right.
Who's that poor person, man or woman? Your job, Olgie, is to clean this pile of used military underwear. That is the worst story I've ever heard yet. It warms my heart, and I will be reading it over and over tonight as I get ready to go to bed. And just imagine the horror of someone having to clean military underwear. We're a little bit behind, which is a good thing. When we come back, we'll be front of mind as we close out The Drive with Mario Smith here on Backchannel.tv. Here's a story you can take home with you. This is to be front of mind, and we try to end the show on a pleasant note in the short time that we have left. Shout out to Shaquille O'Neal. He makes it happen. If you bump into him in the store, don't say anything. Act like you don't see him. Walk around. He'll probably buy whatever the hell you have in your hands. He has been doing it. He gave 2,000 Nintendo Switches and PS5s to underprivileged kids on Christmas. His list of good deeds is super long. He's that dude. Absolutely. God bless Shaq. I've never met him. Can we put him on a list, Bliss, for people to come on the show?
Yep, I got an ongoing list right here, so I'll put them on the list.
All right, very good. Thank you. And also, one of my folks that were watching, my man Michael Lockett, said to tell you that in his mind he said -2 as well.
What's that?
Negative or number 2. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
For the underwear.
Yeah.
Because that's gross. Here's a great story, though, and this is a mother's love right here, and she didn't even know she was doing it, or maybe she did. A lottery ticket placed in a Virginia college student's Christmas stocking by his mother ended up winning him a $1 million prize. A math major at the University of Virginia told Virginia lottery officials he awoke Christmas morning to find his mother had placed a Bank a Million ticket for the December 22nd drawing in his stocking. Donahue checked the numbers. I imagine his name's Donahue. Checked the numbers from the drawing 4, 8, 21, 25, 32, and 35 and discovered he had won the top prize of $1 million after taxes. The math major said some of his winnings will go toward paying tuition. Let me tell you something. I love doing this. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm up. I'm done. I'm hanging the mic up if I get $1 million after taxes. Gliss, it's been great. Bye. Good luck. Everybody, see you. Find someone. I wouldn't do that to you. I would just enhance what we got going.
That's right.
I'd be in a real studio.
Yeah,
that would look like my house.
Maybe it'll be especially good if he goes to one of those 16 schools we were talking about at the top of the show. You might need that $1 million.
You might need that money. Hey, man, thanks for hanging with me, Gliss. Appreciate you.
Of course, man.
Thank you to everybody who watched today or listened. Please tell your friends. Backchannel.tv is where you can find us every not every day, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Central. And please hang out and check out the other shows that we have here on Backchannel. It is going down. We appreciate your patronage. Subscribe on the devices that you are hearing or watching us on so you can hit that notification bell and be notified of when it's our turn to get up. As the sun sets in Chicago, Illinois, my name is Mario Smith. You've been watching The Drive with Mario Smith. Have a pleasant evening, everybody. Peace.